Hey Bucket Pond family, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk a bit more about the pond in a jar that we built recently. I have to make some modifications and I want to include you in that. I want to keep you informed on this project. So I've turned off the lights and we can see the tank as it is meant to be displayed. I think it looks really great. The overall goal of building a pond in a jar with a somewhat gothic theme on a low budget. I think we nailed it. We spent about $5 on the light, a few bucks on the jar, and the materials inside were pretty much scavenged from my other aquariums and bags of stone and things I have laying around. Now, I do love this tank, but it has some problems. First of all, I overestimated the amount of animal life in here. I put a ton of food in this aquarium, thinking that our pets would eat it up pretty quickly. And instead, it's just came off of the steel spike that I used to sink the food, the cucumbers. And so, yeah, that cucumber slice is just floating around the tank. It's messy, it's not cool looking, and that's because our animals are just not high enough in number to fully eat the amount of food that I added. And I did notice just now that the tank, the water flow, the aeration of the air pump is up way too high. Look at our poor snail here, just being knocked around, its poor shell being just kicked around back and forth. That's not ideal. I wanted to go for a very casual, calm stream type low flow type area. So we're going to have to adjust this a bit, and I'm just turning down the airflow. Now, I actually ran out of my little valves that control the airflow, so I'm just using a piece of wire to restrict the airline. But that should work just fine. And it's important because we are raising the next generation of bladder snails in this project. I want to make sure that they are not getting stressed or just knocked around by the water flow, the current generated by that air pump. Now, one of the benefits of building aquariums in jars like this is that we can just turn it around. We can easily rotate the tank and see the backside. You can see where I'm hiding the sponge filter behind the driftwood. And I should mention this sponge filter is oversized for this. It's completely unnecessary. I could have gotten by with just an air stone. But it's okay. Yeah. So looking at that extra food there, we have to find a solution, and I think the solution is very simple. We're going to dramatically increase the population of pets inside of the tank. We're going to give it a second exposure to the bucket pond's biosphere. And yeah, so this includes my Darrow worms that we got from Psycho Plant Lady, and the ostracods I got from a bag of compost. Yes, long story. But anyway, we are adding them into the aquarium. I'm hoping that the ostracods will help to consume that cyanobacteria, and that the Darrow worms will get down to the bottom of the tank and act as detritivores down there as food and waste begins to accumulate in the rock layer. But now we need somebody at the surface who will help to eat any food that floats around the tank. So we are going to employ some tubifex worms. These guys are often referred to as sludge worms. People think they're nasty and disgusting, but they're actually very useful. And they do very well in clean water environments, surprisingly. So we're just going to inject them into the tank, and we're also going to add a bit of green water algae from their aquarium. You'll see a few worms squirming out here and there as I inject everything in, and you'll see clouds of green water as well. I know that seems like a bad idea, as you've seen some of my tanks go completely green, but it's okay, you guys. I can't live in fear of the green water algae. It's going to be present in every aquarium that I assemble. We have to find ways to control it, to compete against it. We have to win that competition with our own plants and even algae and things that we use to try to, battle against the green water. And that being said, green water is not all bad either. It can be useful. Many things enjoy green water environments. Daphnia and things that you may be trying to raise. Yeah. So I've actually seen people talk about how they cannot grow green water, and I just am mystified about that. I have no idea. I do a lot of things by feel, by vibes, if that makes sense, I'm not perfectly calculating every element in this aquarium. I'm just kind of going by feel. I know the tank is decent and healthy. I know it's not too crazy on the pH. It's going to be right around 7, maybe 6 at the lowest. So while we're making these modifications, I'm going to add some material to our other aquarium here. I built this one recently on the channel as well as a demo for the small lights that I'm using now. The tank did go completely green, and we're going to try to bring it back to a clear water type environment. We're going to do that by exposure once again to the bucket pond biosphere. This is a quart jar of hornwort and daphnia that I've been raising off camera for a while, and we're going to begin injecting them into this build. I don't want to confuse you guys. This green water jar was set up right before the Halloween tank, if that makes sense. You can find like a whole thing on my channel about it. And of course, links in the description. I'm going to add some hornwort from that quart jar. It's good stuff. It's covered in daphnia, and hopefully this will help to both compete against the green water and the microfauna, the daphnia. Hopefully they will help to consume it. This green tank does not have an air pump, and I know you guys are sometimes worried about the needles falling off of the hornwort and, making a mess in the tank. But I can tell you, don't stress. This stuff is better, more durable than you might think. I'm able to grow it in our jars very easily, and pretty much every jar with hornwort is crystal clear. So I think there's a correlation there, and we're going to see if that can develop in these builds, or at least that one on the right. Our tank on the left shouldn't go green because I believe the spike rush will be enough to stop that green water algae to compete against it. So, guys, these tanks represent my upcoming style and plans for 2026. I'm always trying to evolve my methods, my materials, and my ideas. And I think that we're getting there. 1 gallon is the size that I choose to work with. Now we just need to perfect other things in the builds. The lighting, it was huge. So now that we have good lights, we need better lids, better solutions for substrate, decor, hardscape, driftwood, and things like that as well. I'm always trying to find the best option for the lowest price, if that makes sense. Trying to have fun on a budget. Yeah. And showing you guys too. You don't have to spend a bunch of money to build some cool stuff. So thank you for watching. Big thank you to my YouTube members and Patreon supporters. I make a new video every week, and I'm happy to share that with you. This is Bucket Ponds. Have a great day.